Ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ που ήρθατε. Thank you for coming. I hope you have a beautiful evening. And I like that it's a small company because we did it just for friends. We did it for us and for friends. So thank you so much. I hope you'll enjoy.
We begin with the Homeric hymn to Pythian Apollo, the son of Leto. Leto's all-glorious son goes to rocky Pytho or Delphi, playing upon his hollow lyre, clad in divine perfumed garments, and his lyre, at the touch of the golden plectrum, sings sweet. Then immediately the undying gods think only of the lyre and the song, and all the muses together voice sweetly answering voice, him, the unending gifts the gods enjoy and the sufferings of men, all that they endure at the hands of the deathless gods. Thetis huios, forming gigla fyrre prospito petre san, embrota emate honte diomina toio de formings, Christie plictrukatene e hemire san. Data na toys me leikit riska eoide Musa menta mapasa me pomenaio picale Himner sin ratation doram brota edan torapon Claimos in nasos I anticipata na toys it eoisi
Now there is a place. There is a place in this world where the sky meets the earth, where the earth meets the sea, and all of them meet the underworld. Now there on that place, there is a huge bronze tower filled with openings and doors and windows, and there all the stories from the world come. And they echo upon those bronze walls, and they mingle and they mix and they make new stories, and when they're ready, they venture forth into the world. Now on that space, at the edges of the world, 4 women meet. The first descends from the skies. The second comes from the earth, softly walking. The other one comes to us from the edges of the underworld. And the other comes forth through the waves of the sea. Now these women meet on that space and they sit in the circles, mothers, daughters. And they sit and they look at each other. They meet once in a while there. And they share their stories. For their stories to echo into these walls, to mingle and mix and travel into the world once again. And so the first woman gets up and steps into the circle and looks upon her daughters and the granddaughters, because this is none other than Rhea, the queen of the gods. Now she stands there and she tells her tale. Ah, Rhea, the consort of Cronus himself, the king of everything, a cruel king, a harsh ruler. But he loved her dearly. But there was a prophecy. A prophecy, and that prophecy said that one of his children would be his demise. And Cronus very much enjoyed being king of everything. So, no matter how much he loved Rhea, he avoided her for 1 eternity, 2 eternities, 3. But long is the life of the immortals. And one day he saw her bathing naked into the river, and he could not resist her anymore. He went to her and laid with her, and soon Rhea was pregnant. And she gave birth. She gave birth to a radiant, beautiful baby girl. Your name is Hestia. And she took that girl to Cronus. And Cronus took his firstborn. And he wiggled his finger at her. And that baby grabbed that finger with such force that Cronus was reminded of the prophecy. What if this cute, chubby little baby will take everything from him? And without a second thought, he opened his mouth and gobbled the baby alive. And Rhea screamed and yelled and tore her cheeks and pulled her hair and ran away from him. But long, long is the life of the immortals. Cronus went to her again and laid with her again, and again she got pregnant. 5 times Rhea found herself pregnant. Not even once did she become a mother. First it was Hestia, then Hades, Demeter, Poseidon, Hera, all eaten alive by their own father before her very eyes. And that was the 6th time. She was again heavy with child. She could feel it in her soul of souls. It was a baby boy. And this boy, she would not allow Cronus to eat alive. Well, if you ask me, better late than never, but I would have thought about this after baby number 1. But okay, that's just me. So okay, this time, finally, she had a plan. And that plan was to hide away from him. When she was due, she hid herself in a thick forest. Not even the rays of sun would come through, because the sun would hear, he would know, he would tell Cronus. And as she was giving birth, she beat down her own arm so that her cries wouldn't be heard into his ears. And she was right. Mothers are always right. And she gave birth to a beautiful baby boy. Your name is Zeus. And she put that boy on her breast and looked at him. He's her only hope. And that baby suckled, and then when she was done, she had to give him up to a nymph, Amalthea, to hide him away. She said her goodbyes. But then she had a problem. Because, sorry gentlemen, but usually we accuse men that they do not notice when we change our hair, buy new clothes. But I think Cronus would notice this. So she had to give him something. He would ask, where's the baby? And she found a solution. She found a rock, a dark, black rock, bundled it up in baby bundles, and offered it to Cronus. Now, Cronus, either because of guilt or because he was so eager, he didn't even look at the rock. He just ate it alive. And from that day on, Rhea avoided him. She didn't even allow him to touch her little toe. But she watched. She watched upon her son. He grew up there on the mountains of Crete. He was a boy playing. And then he became a strapping young man. And when he became a strapping young man, she knew he would find out the truth. One day, she stood on the mountains looking upon him. And she saw the sadness in his eyes. And then the rage, the wrath. He knew where his brothers and his sisters were. So Rhea whispered, free them. Free them all. And this whisper traveled with the winds and went into Zeus's ears. And it became an idea, a purpose. So she watched as Zeus went to his grandmother Rhea. She watched as Rhea gave him this special herb, and she hoped. She was ready to have her revenge upon her husband, and she watched as he her only hope, her son, laid hidden. Now Zeus crept out, and as Cronus is sleeping, he slipped into his mouth this herb. And then Cronus comes up, and Rhea holds her hands in prayer as she waits. And as Cronus swallows, in his sleep he wakes up. And first he goes like, I'm not feeling very, and out comes Hestia. And what is going on? And Hades, and Demeter, and Poseidon, and Hera, and Rhea finally looks upon her children. And then, the rock. When Cronus sees that rock, he knows what's going on, but it's too late. Zeus comes out of his hiding place, and Rhea rejoices, asks her own son, dethrones her father, and she takes her revenge. And she goes down and grabs her children into a warm embrace. Finally, they are together. The prophecy came to be. Zeus is now king of everything. And Rhea has a smile on her face as she looks upon her daughters and her granddaughters, and she sits back on her place in the circle.
The Orphic hymns are a collection of 87 short poems composed anytime from 3rd century AD during the Roman imperial age or as early as 4th century BC during the Hellenistic period. Some scholars believe it had much earlier oral traditions. They are based on the beliefs of the religious philosophy called Orphism, related to the mythical hero Orpheus. This is Orphic hymn to Rhea. Mighty Queen Rhea, daughter of many-faced Protogonos, firstborn, your sacred chariot is drawn by bull-slaying lions. The sound of drums and cymbals, O frenzy-loving maiden, is yours, and you are the mother of the aegis-bearing Olympian lord. Illustrious and honored, you are Cronos' blessed consort, and you delight in the mountains and in the horrid shrieks of mortals. Strong-spirited Rhea, queen of queens, lover of the battle din, lyre, savior, redeemer, first by birth, you are mothers of gods and mortal men. From you came the earth, the wide sky above the sea and the winds. Ethereal and restless, come, O blessed goddess, as gentle-minded savior, bring peace and a wealth of possessions, and send death and destruction to the ends of the earth. Orphic hymn to Rhea number 14.
Protogonoia, heite pitavrofonon hierotrophon armatitenis, tympanodo perfiluis tromanes halcocrote cure, miter zinos anactos Olympiu aegiochio. Potna Rhea, Pantir maglomo fecronu silectre macera, ures ene heres neton tolalima sifritis, Vasileia Rhea polemoclone Domini sotira luterias arhienethle. Εξουγάρ και γεία και ουρανός εύρης υπέρθεν. Και πόντος πνίτε φιλόδρομοι αερομορφέ. Δε μακέρα θεά σωτήριος εφρονή βουλή. Δε μακέρα θεά, δε μακέρα Ειρήνη καταγούσα συνεβόμπρις κτέατεσί. Κλίματε και κυράς πεμπούς επιτέρματε γης. Παμ Βασιλεία Θεά, παμ Βασιλεία Rhea, κλήθη μακέρα, έλθει μακέρα Θεά. Πότνα Rhea, πότνα Rhea.
Now the circle is empty again, and forth comes the woman that walked upon the earth. Her name is Leto. And Leto just has a cover upon her hair and upon her face. And she walks softly into the middle of the circle. And with her soft voice, she talks about her tale. Now Leto shy, timid Leto. Well, she shied away from everybody, humans and immortals. She liked roaming up the mountains, living alone, and her eternity was a blessing for her. But one day, one fateful day, that's all it takes, one fateful day. Well, the winds blow. And as the wind blows, it takes off the covering of her head. Her long hair falls upon her shoulders, and her face is revealed upon the world. It just so happens that at that moment, Zeus is on Mount Olympus, and he's looking for the fun of the day. Who is he going to seduce this day? Someone new, someone he hasn't met before, and as if a diamond into the dirt, her beauty shines, and he's looking upon her. She quickly covers herself, but it's too late. Zeus saw her. Now, he has her scent. So he descends from Mount Olympus onto that mountain, and he goes after Leto, and Leto is so timid, so shy, and he's so grand, so beautiful, so handsome, so strong. Oh, what is a girl supposed to do? I mean, right? So she gives in, and they make love again and again, and they meet again and again, and Leto finds happiness because her belly is growing. And in her soul of souls, she hears it. 2 heartbeats, not one, twins. Now for those twins, her happiness would be complete. She could not sigh away from the world anymore. She's not alone. Her eternity is now shared. So she waits her days till those twins come, and her belly becomes bigger and bigger. But there is someone watching. And as her belly grows bigger, so is her wrath. Hera. Hera sees that nymph. She sees that growing belly and knows that this is proof that she has again been cheated upon. And she hears 2 heartbeats, twins. She would have her revenge. She would not be ridiculed like this. And so she commands the earth. That nymph is never to find safe haven everywhere. And it just so happens, as Hera commands. Everywhere Leto stands, suffering finds her. The sun is scorching her skin. The winds take away her breath. The locusts come and eat her food. The storms destroy her shelter. The water turns bad. The fruits, they rot. Everywhere she goes, she's driven away. She suffers into this earth, and she runs from one place to the other. But it is as if there are green pastures behind her and scorching earth before her. But she finds it with her. The twins, she must protect them. So she runs again and again till it's time for her to give birth. And that's not enough for Hera. She sees her determination. So she plucks from the earth a serpent, a great dragon, python, and she commands that dragon to go after the nymph. Never let her stay in one place alone, just to sleep, just to close her eyes, just to rest her body. The python goes after that mother. And she runs to save her children inside her belly. And she runs, and her feet turn bloody, and her body cannot take it anymore. And at one morning, she's before the sea. She's an immortal nymph, but she cannot take it anymore. Her belly is heavy, her heart is heavy. She's thinking of going inside the sea to end her suffering. There is no place for her. Hera commands all. But there, she sees, is it a ship? But it's not. It's an island, a floating island. It has no foundations on earth. It is no part of the earth, no part of the sea. It has not been commanded by Hera. So that island disobeys the queen of the gods and comes forth into the shore, a barren, white island. But for Leto, it's heaven. So she steps into the island, and the other island sails away into the middle of the ocean, to the middle of the seas. And so Leto starts giving birth. There is one single tree growing from this island, and she holds onto it, standing, so she can see her twins coming. But Hera watches still. Not yet, she says. And she prolongs her suffering at that moment of the great birth-giving suffering. And she cannot not go back or go forth. She cannot go back to how she was. She cannot become a mother. And she suffers again and again and again till Leto raises her hands and calls upon Zeus. Please, for me, for the times we shared for our children. Hera looks upon Zeus with a look that says, I dare you. I double dare you. But Zeus has had enough and tells Hera, no, she has suffered enough. You have had your revenge. And she says, okay. And finally, Leto gives birth to her beautiful boys and girls. Just one bright boy like the sun and one shining girl, Apollo and Artemis. And they are shining like the sun on the sky. And the sky is bright with the moon on its 14th day. And those children become her protectors, her family. There's nothing else to harm her. And this island, this beautiful white island, becomes a haven for them. And Leto covers again her hair and her face, and she takes her place into the circle.
This is the Orphic hymn to Leto, number 35. Leto, dark-veiled, revered goddess and mother of twins, great-souled daughter of Chios, queen to whom many pray, for you was the birth pain for Zeus's fair child. You bore Phoebus and arrow-pouring Artemis, her on Ortygia and him on rocky Delos. Here, lady goddess, and with favor in your heart, come to this all-holy ritual and bring us a sweet ending.
listi Vasileia. Efteknon zinos kodimin odin alla husa. Ilameni feibon teke artemin io heran. Din venen ortii donde granaien idili. Clithithea despina que ila onitore husa. Bene pipantion teletin telos idi ferru sa. Clithithea despina, Clithithea despina.
Now the third woman comes forth. She comes from the edges of the underworld. She comes barefoot. Now she goes to the center of the circle. She's Demeter. Now Demeter talks about her tale, a tale that still has pain in her heart. She's reminded of her pain every year. And she talks and she says that she was sitting one day up on Mount Olympus. And she was watching the earth growing, so ever-loving, when she heard a cry of help. Once, only once, did she hear that cry, and then nothing. She knew that voice. That was her daughter Persephone. And she descended down from Mount Olympus on the meadow where her child was playing. And she looked for her daughter, her beautiful Persephone, but she was nowhere to be found. And she looked everywhere. She took the fires of the earth into her hands, and she looked day and night, up and low, everywhere she went. She asked the grass and asked the trees, asked the skies, where is my daughter? Not even the stones of the earth replied. Everyone turned away from her look. And Demeter took off her clothes and put on a black veil, and she found herself sitting there crying, when there is a woman approaching. And that woman is an old woman, is a Kati. And a Kati sits before Demeter, says, I feel your suffering. I heard the voice, someone took your daughter. But my goddess, I do not know who. I am here to help you. Now, get out of your suffering. There is someone that sees all. The sun, he must know. We go to the sun, he will tell us, then we will find her. And Demeter finds hope in her heart. She gets up and they go to the sun. And before the sun, she goes, if I ever done anything to honor you, tell me the truth. Who is it that took my daughter? And the sun loses a little bit of his shine, stops the chariot and says, is it not me, you must ask? It's the king of the gods, Zeus. He's the one that gave your daughter away. Now Demeter did not expect to hear that. Persephone is their daughter. Zeus could never harm their own daughter, would he? So she goes straight to Mount Olympus. And the gods are gathering and they are feasting. Oh, they are so blissfully unaware. And she comes in and she screams, "Where is my daughter?" And Zeus says, "Could you please come down? I do not have time for your hysterics. What is wrong? Where is Persephone?" Persephone? Well, Persephone is very much well. You see, Hades, the king of the underworld himself, 1/3 of the greatest gods came and asked for her hand in marriage. And I agreed. "Oh, you agreed, did you?" Demeter said. "So, did you think about asking me? Did you think about asking your daughter if she wants to be buried into the underworld?" "Ask you?" Zeus said. "Ask our daughter? What for?" And Demeter tears her cheeks and pulls her hair, says, "I want my daughter back. She cannot be there. She cannot be taken. I want her back." And all the gods look upon her. And Zeus says, "No, come on. Girls get taken every day. At least this one will be lawfully married. She will be the queen of the underworld. He will honor her. You know Hades. He's a nice guy." And Demeter looks upon the other gods, one by one, and she tries to find an ally. Surely, they must see this is wrong. But they all look away. No one is ready to fight the king of the underworld and the king of the skies. She turns to her own brother, the third of the gods, Poseidon. Poseidon says, "Come on, it's not a problem. Soon you would have forgotten about it." So Demeter looks upon them one last time and she leaves them. She goes back to earth. She changes her form. She becomes an old woman. And she sits there on a stone, a dark, black stone. And she sets all happiness from inside her soul. He sets all hope and dreams. And as she sits on that black stone, everything around her dies. The grass turns black. The trees, they wither. Their fruits, they rot. All the animals suffer. They moan looking for food. The humans, they suffer too. They see their animals dead, their crops dying. But she closes her ears and she only thinks of her daughter. And the suffering goes on and on. There is not one green leaf upon the face of the earth. There is not one juicy fruit upon the trees. One by one, all the animals die. The humans, they die. They turn to the gods. And the gods, they scream to the gods to bring forth happiness again. And Zeus sees that, okay, this is serious. Maybe we should do something about it. So he calls upon Iris first to go to the goddess there on her black and smiling stone. But the goddess doesn't even look at the messenger of the gods. And then one by one, the divine gods go to her and plead their case. They give her anything she wants, everything, power. They give her gifts. They give her magic, all of it, hers. But Demeter says nothing, just looks down. And as she looks down, the earth becomes covered with dust. And as the winds blow, this dust gets into the hearts, into their eyes, into the lungs of men. There is no more life. So Zeus himself comes down to her. And that's the only time she looks up. "What do you want? If you kill them, you kill us. Who will worship us?" It says, "I want my daughter back. I will have my rightful rage. You will bring her back, or I will kill us all. She's not just a girl that's being snatched away." And Zeus thinks that this is not right. Maybe This time they could do it right. So he goes to Hades and says, we have to bring the girl back, or else we all die. Your halls will be filled with mortals, immortals even. So Hades agrees. And there, on that unsmiling stone where Demeter is sitting, she hears the hooves of horses. There's a chariot coming. It raises the dust of the earth, but she does not raise her eyes. She's afraid of what she will see. But then, in her grief, in the blackness of her sorrow, she hears one golden word, the honey of mothers. Mother? She knows that voice. That's Persephone. And she opens her eyes, and her daughter is sitting right there. And she opens her arms and grabs her daughter into her embrace. And the moment they do, the earth becomes green again. The grass turns tall and strong. There are flowers everywhere, and the trees go taller, and their fruits are ripe for taking. And now the animals have to feed themselves. And the humans, they fall on their knees and they thank the goddess. But then Demeter looks upon her daughter and says, tell me, did you eat anything in the underworld? She says, yes, I ate 6 seeds of a pomegranate. I was so hungry. Blackness comes over her again. There are black clouds covering her. Now she would have her. They would take her back. Anyone who eats from the underworld must go back there. And she tells her daughter, why? They fooled you again, my daughter. I have to give you up. But Zeus comes running. No, he won't have it second time. Okay, calm down. We can come to an agreement, I think. Okay, let's be rational here. Okay, she ate the pomegranate. That was not my idea, by the way. But she can stay only for a while, like 1/3 of the year. Is it good? 1/3, fine. And then the rest of the year, she will be up here with you. Now Demeter was sad, but she's not cruel. She knows what she had done to the earth. And she agrees. 1/3 of the year, she would lose her daughter. And 2/3 of the year, she would be with her. We think that the winter is just because she's sad. No. Remember, Demeter is having her rightful rage. And rightfully avenged, she sits back into the circle.
The Homeric hymns are a collection of 33 ancient Greek hymns celebrating the most powerful Greek gods. They were from oral traditions, finally written down from the 7th century BC to the 4th century BC Hellenistic period. Written in epic meter, most are in the same dialect as the Iliad and Odyssey, and some were performed by several rhapsodes in festivals. Here's the Homeric hymn to Demeter, number 2. In English, I begin to sing of Demeter with lovely hair, the awesome goddess, and of her slim ankled daughter, whom Idoneus Hades seized, given to him by all-seeing Zeus the loud thunderer. Far away from Demeter, lady of the golden blade and glorious fruits, Persephone was playing with the deep-bosomed daughters of Oceanus and gathering flowers over a soft meadow. Roses and crocuses and beautiful violets, irises also, and hyacinths, and the narcissus, which Gaia grew to be a trap for the bloom-like girl. And then Hades seized her unwillingly on his golden car and carried her away lamenting. Then she cried out with her voice, and the heights of the mountains and the depths of the sea rang with her immortal voice, and her queenly mother heard her. Bitter pain seized Demeter's heart, and she tore off the covering from her divine hair with her dear hands. So the queenly mother heard her daughter. Hymn to Demeter.
Iritin. After needed the cat at the knees for an aid I don't. Paxendo can the barik tipos every passes. Nos fin Dimitros Chrysaoru aglio carpu. Paisu sankure si sinokia nubati corbis. Antia taino menen rodakai krokonei akala. Limon amalakon kaya gali des eia kinton. Narki sontum fisi dolon kalikopi di kuri. Arpaxaste kusanepi resioisin och hisin. Ego li fuori mine, ja hisi dar ortiam foni. Hisandore jon korifai kei ventia pontu. Foni i patanatik tis tekli potnia metir. Oxia demin gratiena kos eller benefiter heitais. Amvrasi eis cridem nadais do hersi filesi. Tis teklia potnia meter.
Now the last woman comes forth into the circle. Upon seeing her, the other women, they bow their heads down. This is Thetis. Now, Thetis still has a sorrow in her soul. And the other women know, yes, Rhea has seen her kids being eaten alive by their own father, but they're alive and well. One of her, they're sitting right across her. Yes, Leto was running to save her and her twins, but they reign supreme now in Olympus. And yes, Demeter, 1/3 of the year, she's deprived of her daughter. But then spring comes, summer comes, she's back. But Thetis' pain is eternal. Now Thetis says her story when she remembers. She remembers the most beautiful of the goddesses. All 3 of the great gods wanted her. They all yearned for her. Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades, and many, many more. Now Zeus was ready to cast off Hera and marry her. She had it all. She was beautiful, she was sexy, she was smart, she was prudent. But there was one thing that ruined everything. A few words, just as life is. One day, the gust of the wind, and a few words. Now those words were that Thetis will give birth to a son, and that son would be mightier than its sire. What that meant is what happened to Kronos would happen to Zeus, and Zeus remembered very well how it was. And he, like his father, because the apple doesn't fall far from a tree, enjoying being king of everything. And Thetis may be wise and sexy and prudent, but she was not worth it. So to make sure that none of the other gods had got any ideas, he had a plan. Well, if Thetis is to give birth, she might as well give birth to a mortal. If they marry her to a mortal king, then might as it may be, her son would just be a mortal, no threat to the immortals. And they didn't even ask her. They picked the king themselves, Peleus. Now, Peleus is a warrior. He's not a poet. He has no gentle hands. He doesn't know of love. He doesn't know of art and culture. He knows only of war and sex. And they give Thetis to him. And Thetis is appalled. Is this what it's coming down to? Is she cast away like this? Treated like nothing, without even asking her? She's given to this brute of a man? But there was no saying. The other option is for Zeus to tie her in eternal bonds. So she takes Peleus as her husband, and Peleus has her. And then a miracle happens. She did not expect this. This, in her rage, she hadn't even considered this. Her belly swells. And like her mothers and her grandmothers, she knows it's a boy, a baby boy. And in her darkness, she sees the light. She would have a son. Him, yes. He could love him. She could live for him. Yes, everything his father is not, she would make him. She would be the light of her life. And so it comes to be. She gives birth to a beautiful, radiant boy, Achilles. And she gives all of her heart to that boy. Everything she is are those two little eyes of his. It is the most beautiful boy in the world. Well, me and Bettina would strongly disagree, and then we would fight amongst ourselves, which is if it's my son or her son. But Thetis thinks that Achilles is the most perfect little boy, and she raises him, and she's perfectly happy. But Thetis knows all. And as Achilles grows and she becomes a young man, she sees the two roads winding before him. One is Ceres, the fate. Yes, he would become strong, the strongest of them all. No mortal would be his equal. He would be the greatest warrior ever seen. If Peleus is strong, Achilles would shame him. But at the end of that road, she sees what no mother wants to see: death. But there is another road. And this road speaks of nothingness. He will become a man, an everyday man, perhaps a good king. He will live out his life. There are children, grandchildren in his life. He will end up his days. Only she will remember his name. Yes, death. One day, at a very, very old age. And she tries to push Achilles into this road. Yes, just look at this man. Look at the gobbler in the city. He's so happy with his children playing around. Look at this farmer in his farm. Oh, look at his smile. But Achilles looks at the swords and the shields, and he's fascinated. He has made his choice. He will take this road, the road of the warrior. The eternal name of Achilles will be sung till the ends of days. Like a mother does, like a true mother does, she respects his choice. And when he leaves for battle, she's right there, unseen, right behind him, taking in every little moment she has with him. And one day she hears her son. She's at the shore, and he is calling out for her. And she goes, she's right there, and she goes and takes him into her embrace. What's wrong, my child? Mother, they've wronged me. I've given them everything, and now they spurn me. I want them to pay for this. And Thetis thinks that maybe this is her chance. I'm sure that this time she can convince him to go back. Come on, it's not worth it. You see, they are nothing before you. Let's go back. You can be the greatest warrior back home. But she sees it in his eyes. She knows that he wants this. So she promised to give him the glory he wants. And goes to Zeus and begs for whatever her son asked. And then she stays close. And she sees that day, she sees Patroclus sneaking into Achilles' tent. She sees him come out wearing his armor. How foolish all the Achaeans and the Trojans are. that little man, that's no son of hers. And she's tempted. She could easily pluck Patroclus out of the battlefield. She can take him away and save her son. But the fate is decided. So she sits back and she watches as Patroclus is being slain. And she watches as they take off his helmet and they know they've done a mistake. She closes her eyes. She cannot bear to see, but she cannot stop from hearing. Her son is lamenting. He's wailing, he's spilling his voice into the war cry, and the earth trembles, the sea trembles, the skies tremble. Achilles is in rage one final time, and he gets into gear, and Thetis is looking at him in all his glory, all the glory he has longed for in his life, and she smiles one last time. He throws himself into battle. And from that battle, only ashes remain, his ashes. The other three women, they pay their respect to the mother that lost it all. And Thetis takes her eternal sorrow and takes her place into the circle.
The main character of the Iliad is Achilles, son of the powerful sea goddess Thetis. In this rather startling excerpt from Book 1 of Iliad, Achilles, bursting into tears, drew apart from friends and sat down on the shore of the Grey Sea. Earnestly he prayed to his dear mother with outstretched hands, weeping, and his lady mother heard him. And speedily she came out from the Grey Sea and sat down in front of him as he wept, and she stroked him with her hand and asked, "Child, why do you weep?" "Teknon tiklaies. What sorrow has come upon your heart, child? Why do you weep?" "Teknon tiklaies." And swift-footed Achilles answers from the depths of his chest, You know everything." And in Book 9 he says, "My mother, the silver-footed goddess Thetis, said to me, I have two fates, two ways to die." And she says, "Oh my child, oh my teknonemon, why did I raise you to be cursed, oh my child?" So this is the Iliad, Book 1, and a little bit of Book 9.
Chrisas heterona faret sotonos filiastes, nephalos polieis orone paperon aponton, pola Demetri fileres atoheras oregnis. Karpalimos Dipolis, alas eito mihli, kai reparoi thautoi kathet to decri yontos. Heri de min katarex nepos, te fatecton amadse. Texnon ticlais. Didis frenas higeto penthos. Technon ticlais. Tände baristerna hon, brasife på det sokis Achilles. Oista tietoi tautaidui pantagoreu. Meiter katte med feste ja, Thetis argiro petsa. Dikladias geras för min, denna toite loste.
As the program says, I am also a classicist. So I wrote a poem that was published in an academic journal, and it has lots of footnotes, which I will not do to you. There are no footnotes in this, but I will say to you the poem, and then you can ask me questions after if you want to. It's called The Lullaby of Thetis. She's saying goodbye to her son. He's gone. What wrath should I sing? Shall I begin when Peleus, with Zeus's blessing, forced me to mortal embrace, disgraced an undying bride for his pride, and for Olympian fear to abet, lest I beget a god child to make Olympus plummet? What rage to tell of betrayal by one I had unchained? What despair, the violence upon me, or to foresee my child's mortality? Since they would not allow I give birth to one undying. They are not my kind, Olympians, strolling in mountain majesty, replacing chaos and time, pretending they're worth more than the Titans, earth and upper air. They care nothing for beginnings and endings, for things that feed, float, and fall rotting beneath the sea. They are not my kind, mortals, who till land and count suns and moons, falling to their graves too soon, burned, their souls unreachable to me. They cannot sing the songs my throng of sisters now wail with me. My child, now mortals and gods sing of you. They have mourned 17 days for you. Now your eyes are closed and lost to me. Do you remember my songs to you? There by the sea, I let you dream and be, let you wander the shores, humming happily, laughing as sand escaped your small hands. I let you chase me, laughing as I dove in the waves. Too soon, the moon dims. Let her beguile my child a while. Let him smile with the music of the sea. Let him wonder at the stars until his eyes close. And let me rock him to sleep under the cloudless sky with the rhythm of the sea. Too soon you outran me. I swim in memories holding your tiny hand as we swam and sang in the brine. Someday these memories will scatter like sand. There will come a day I will not remember you quite so brightly. That is what I tell myself. That as ocean wears down rocks, so the pain will grow less. I could not hold you long. You often wriggled out from my arms, too curious to feel rain, too soon to run and climb and toss stones in the ocean, laughing, swift-footed, golden, too soon to put on medal and shield and sword and climb a horse and ride away from the sea. I tried to hide you on an island. There was nowhere I could cover your will to see the world, to conquer it with your hands as all mortal men. For you are not undying, child. You are but flesh, and you bleed, and you bled. Not of wrath did I sing, but of paths you chose between. 2 paths to take, but the path and portal towards immortality in song is where you believe you belonged. Plundering wide-pathed cities, which means nothing. Now you're gone. I should have sung more songs of hearths and harvests, of summer's fruits and pleasures, and treasured the moments you learned them. But you sang your own songs of war, becoming both hero and bard. They will sing of your wrath for thousands of years. They could not know your tears, your howls when you first walked, your laughter echoing in our halls. They do not know your sweet smile, how the wind blows your hair when you run after my silver feet flashing into the ocean, running on swift feet before you jump in, your little prints pressing on sand now washed away. They will sing your deeds for thousands of years. Tonight I sing only lullabies. You smiled, you laughed, you tripped, you cried, wide-eyed when you first held rein. The ocean knows. It gives and takes, reflects the moment I said, come, I will teach you how to sing. String a lyre, breathe deep so your voice resounds in glory. The ocean breaks as hearts break. Let dawn and Charon's boat wait. Let the fates and arrows of gods and time abate. I will hold you in memory and song. For now you need no shield but a blanket. No ships on the waves yet, just my arms rocking you by the sea. I hear your voice. I will remember long after your footprints on all sands have been washed away. The stars have come and gone. I have held on too long, past your time to sleep. My child, my golden swift-footed son. Good night, little one.
Now, at this circle, the stories have been told, and they echo inside this bronze tower, and they mingle with the stories of other mothers who've lost their children, of women being abused, of those who live in war. And they echo, and they mix, and they mingle, and they travel into the world. And as they travel, the All-Mother hears, yeah, Gaia, the mother of mothers, and she rises from the depths, and she opens her warm embrace, and embraces her daughters, her granddaughters, and her great-granddaughters till the ends of days.
To Earth, the mother of all. Earth, all-mother, I will sing of you. This is the hymn to Gaia. Earth, all-mother, I will sing of you, well-founded, eldest. She feeds all creatures that are in the world, all that go upon the glorious land, and all upon the sea, and all that fly, all these are fed from her bounty. Hail, mother of the gods, wife of starry heaven.
alla Uranus asteroentos. Imenosa thonadiana perhete, idosa ponton, idosa poton tai, tade ferbetig, setenobu, haeretheometer, haeretheometer, alla Uranus asteroentos.
Now, Bettina and I have no other gifts to give than songs and tales. So one last gift to you. There is one greatest gift to be given, and that's Rhea, health. So to you, we will call upon her to come and give us all her blessing.
The devotional Orphic hymns have been sung since antiquity. In Athens, Rhea was invoked in libations poured after washing of hands and before drinking in the symposium. Her worship as goddess of health is closely tied to Asclepios, god of medicine, said to be her father. In the Hippocratic Oath, her name follows that of Asclepios. And so in this hymn we sing, "Desired, beloved, much blooming all-queen, hear me, blessed Rhea, prosperity bringer, mother of all. Through you, diseases afflicting men vanish. Every house blossoms with much joy through you, and the arts thrive. The world desires you, O Queen, ever youthful, ever beloved, a haven for mortals." And so this is the Orphic hymn to Rhea.
Polithalmi e pam Vasileia, Clethi Macaria per olbi meter apanto. Meter apanto. Exieganus soi mena poftinitus ibratoisen, paste tu mostale polietis, heinica seio. Meter apanto. Kai technai britosi, what Thetis a cosmos and NASA. Aitales iuptati tatete tona fama, sugar per pentes in anofile anthropoisinu. Meter apanto. Meter apanto.
Thank you so much for joining us today.